Welcome to Am I the Idiot? Today's video has one story now. Let's get started. This post is from subreddit AIT-AHA and it's by user Apprehensive Perlo. I am married to my wife. We both have teen sons from previous relationships. Her son Noah, 14, and my son Spencer, 15. Spencer's biological mom, my ex, is a deadbeat who doesn't pay her child support and hasn't spoken to Spencer in years, while Noah's biological dad is very involved in Noah's life and takes him every other week. Noah's dad also makes a fair bit more money than either me or my wife, and this leads to Noah having nicer things than Spencer. Noah has a fairly new iPhone, while Spencer has an old model with a cracked screen. Noah's dad has promised to pay his way through college, while Spencer works 2 part-time jobs, by his choice, to start saving up, but will still probably have to take out loans. Most relevant to our current problem, Spencer wears almost exclusively second-hand thrifted clothes, while Noah's dad buys him department store name brand clothes. Because of the difference in the way the two boys dress, Noah has taken to making fun of Spencer for looking like a hobo. He crawled out of a gutter and like trailer trash. Just nasty, unnecessary, and in my opinion very classist insults. It's not like Spencer doesn't put effort into his appearance either. We just don't have the money to fill his closet with $30 t-shirts and $75 pairs of jeans. Now, Spencer has a bit of a temper, and the difference between his things and Noah's things is a sore spot. As a result, the boys have gotten into several shouting matches and one major physical altercation. Spencer is tall for his age and Noah hit puberty late, so it was more of a beatdown than a fight, though no one went to the hospital. I've spoken to my wife multiple times about disciplining Noah, but she insists that he's just doing it to get a reaction out of Spencer, and the solution is for Spencer to stop falling for it, rather than any consequences or even a strong conversation for Noah. I may have accepted this if Noah was in elementary school, but he's a teenager, and a teenager need to at least be told not to antagonize his stepbrother, who he knows has outbursts. I've tried to talk to Noah myself, but he just says, "You're not my dad. You can't tell me what to do." And yes, I have talked to Spencer about keeping his temper in check, but at this point, it's not his fault when he's constantly being demeaned for something he has no control over. After the aforementioned physical incident, I gave my wife an ultimatum: discipline Noah or I'm leaving. I told her that I couldn't keep my son in a home where he's constantly on edge because she refuses to parent her son. I told her that, as a step-parent, I have little authority over Noah, so it's on her to set him straight. She asked me if I was seriously considering divorcing her over the way she parents her son, and I said yes, that this isn't about her, but about protecting my son from Noah's bullying. She told me I was being manipulative and that threatening divorce over every little thing is abusive. I tried to explain that this isn't a little thing, and she just told me to give her a few days to think things over, and I agreed to give her a week before I would contact a lawyer. Comments. User Miyuki M says Noah is bullying Spencer, and your wife is ignoring her responsibility to raise a decent human being. Spencer deserves better, and as his father, you have a responsibility to protect him. I wouldn't want to be married to someone who thinks my son should just put up with being bullied by their kid instead of teaching their kid not to be a bully. User Holy Sheetcakes says I wouldn't give her a week to think it over. What's to think over? She may be already talking to a lawyer. Meanwhile, your kid is still dealing with constant bees. That's taking a huge toll on his mental health. She doesn't care about your child. Not at all. User Martinizenmurder says yes, I totally agree. Any attorney she has met with or talked to first, you can't use either. Get ahead of this and find a good one before she blocks you from good representation. Once they have met with one party to hear them out, they have a conflict of interest. Beat her to the punch, even if you don't end up divorcing. Though you honestly should. Update. First off, as per everyone's advice on my last post, I've gotten in contact with a divorce lawyer and have begun to draft papers. Whether or no they'll be filed remains to be seen. Second, I didn't think I'd be updating so soon, but there's been a major development, so here goes. Yesterday, Noah's father, who I'll be calling Mike, called me. We have each other's numbers, but we generally don't speak, so this was a surprise. The following is an approximation of our conversation. Me: "Hey Mike, what's up?" Mike: "Hey, nothing much. But I'm calling about a fight our boys got into. Have you heard?" Me: "Oh yes, of course I heard. Thankfully, neither are hurt bad." Mike: "Good, that's good to hear. Listen, from the way Noah tells the story, your boy, Spencer was it, attacked mine over some petty argument over clothes. Now I know my boy can exaggerate, so I figured I'd call to get it from you." Me: "Yeah, well, now I don't mean to call Noah any kind of liar, but that's only half the story. See, lately, your boy has taken to picking on mine, because you can afford to dress him in more expensive clothes. Now I'm glad that Noah can have the clothes he wants thanks to you, but he's decided that makes him superior to Spencer. Noah called him a hobo, trailer trash, told him he looked like he crawled out of a gutter, and said he wouldn't be surprised if Spencer ends up on the street in 5 years. Mike: "Wait, really? Noah said that?" Me: "Yes, he did. Can't image where he learned to speak like that." Mike: "Not my house, that's for sure, but continue." Me: "Right now, my boy can have a temper, and I'm working on that with him, be sure. But Noah wouldn't listen when I told him to knock it off. There have been a few yelling fights, and then a couple days ago, Noah just kept winding him up, and they were shouting at each other, and then Noah swung, and well, the rest is history." Mike: "Wait, Noah swung first." Me: "Yup, but the rest of the hits were Spencer's. I'll be honest, it wasn't a fair fight at all. Like I said, I'm just glad neither got hurt too bad. But let me be frank. Your boy is causing problems in my house, and he needs to stop before he gets put in the hospital. Could you talk to him about it? Sherry won't, but our relationship is a whole nother deal." Mike: "Oh yeah, for sure, I'll talk to him. And also, so long as no one goes to the hospital, feel free to let your boy set mine straight, if you know what I mean. That's how I learned to stop being a mouthy little shit. Maybe a little schoolyard justice will do the same for him." Me: "Thanks man, I appreciate it. I'll pass your message to Spencer. But honestly, I'd prefer less violence in my house. Anyway, I've got to run." Mike: "All right, but let's keep communicating about this. I'm so disappointed in Noah, and I apologize that he's starting stuff with Spencer. Anyway, Noah goes to Mike's place tomorrow, so hopefully his father can straighten him out. As for my relationship with my wife, I'll be having a serious sit-down with her soon. if we can't work things out, that lawyer of mine will come in handy. And yes, I did tell Spencer what Mike said about setting Noah straight, but made it clear that Spencer is not to start anything. But if Noah gets physical first, Spencer has my permission to shut him down. Comments. User Material Cellist 4133 says I'm pretty sure he is picking up the words from your wife. He is getting it from somewhere, and if it's not the dad, then it's the mom. You sure your wife likes your son? User Mindtaker says I agree. Mom is the problem for sure. But he isn't getting it from mom just isn't putting a stop to it. Bullying for being poor is a thing that 100 happens in school. One kid's rich, which popular, and they talk shit about the poor kids. Anyone who thinks the mom is secretly having meetings with the kid about how to put down her husband's kid is a fucking loon. That's classic schoolyard bully shit that hasn't changed one single bit. As the poor kid going through school, no one ever gave me shit about my clothes or brands other than other shitty school kids. Teenagers are like the most cringy shit-talking group of human beings on the planet. User Ellen Dyra says, have none of you been bullied at school? He could easily have gotten this from school friends, who may or may not have parents who act like this. Plus the internet is full of bad messages for our impressionable youth. I will admit her not wanting to do anything about it is sus though. Final update. So, a couple of you all suggested that Sherry and I have a family meeting with Mike and the boys, and I figured it was worth a try. I called Mike, and he said it was a great idea, but Sherry didn't want to, because her divorce from Mike was so chaotic, and she didn't want to make things awkward. It took some convincing, but she caved eventually. I won't go into the little details, but basically Mike and I tried to explain to Noah and Sherry why what Noah had been doing was wrong and deserved punishment. But Sherry was being really stubborn, and it ended up with Mike deciding to take all of Noah's clothes away and give him $100 to make his wardrobe for all of the coming school year, with it reduced down by $15 for each time he insulted Spencer. A moot point now, but he didn't know that at the time. Sherry was of course opposed, but there's not much she can do. Mike took Noah and left. Spencer got picked up by my mom, and then I got into it with Sherry. It started out civil, talking about parenting philosophy and our different experiences with bullying and the like. She just wouldn't calm down though, and we had the biggest fight of our relationship. I admit, I was a bit at fault too for not backing down. What can I say? I'm one stubborn ass. It was an hours-long screaming match that was basically her defending Noah and saying he has a right to his words because he's smaller, younger, and because he had to go through his parents' messy divorce, and he has emotional trauma. I don't actually know if this is true, but to be frank, I don't care, I yelled back, that Spencer's mom is a fucking deadbeat, so fuck you and your excuses. In the end, it devolved into petty insults and ended with her throwing a lamp at me while screaming that she'd rather bang her coworker, and I ran out of the house and drove to my mom's place. Anyway, a couple days later, this somehow all got back to Mike, who invited me out for a drink, and I obviously said yes, because I really needed one at that point. We got to talking about Sherry, and turns out y'all were right about their divorce too. According to Mike, he left her because they got into a huge fight after he caught her poking holes in their condoms. She wanted another kid, he didn't, and she was trying to get her way with a noops baby. They didn't even have a prenup, She just managed to blow through all the money she got from him before I met her. So yeah, suffice to say, I'm glad I got myself snipped a while ago. I've filed the divorce papers, and I'm fucking devastated, but I know it's for the best. Fuck my life, and thanks for listening to my ranting internet strangers. 2 weeks ago, I would never imagine it would come to this, but leaving her feels like a weight off my shoulders. Honestly, like I said, I'm just glad we don't have any kids together. This will be my last update. I'm gonna focus on screwing her over as bad as I can. Seriously, fuck you, Sherry. Comments. User Leah Thagabond says, wow. I remember your first post. This took a turn, but this sounds like the healthiest outcome for you and your son. She and her son sound horrible. Mike seems like a good dude. Hope you'll stay friendly. That would be both hilarious and petty. User Apprehensive Perlo says, if Mike keeps talking, I won't quit. You're right, he's a cool guy. And hey, folks on the last update was saying, I should get with Mike after I leave Sherry. I obviously don't think it'll ever go down like that, but the notion gives me a chuckle at least. User Max Zaddy says, before my biodad and I had a falling out, my stepdad and biodad were super close and would joke they understood each other because they both married her point to my mom. They talked on the phone all the time to just shoot the ST. We all used to travel together, and when I was looking at colleges, every trip included all 3 parents. When my biodad visited to see me or work, he stayed in our extra bedroom. Just to say, if you and Mike keep talking, it's a funny way to explain how you know each other. Plus, a good example of non-toxicity before both boys. User Off Miroka 2016 says, wow. Talk about a shocking update. Holy hell. Sherry is off the rails. I loved Mike's response about the school wardrobe. That's another good dad right there. You both are raising your kids, right? I see why he divorced Sherry as well. She plays dirty as hell. Damn. I agree that it's such a good thing you couldn't have children with her. What a nightmare that would been. Your vasectomy paid off big time with this marriage. Anyway, glad to see you've got the attorney divorce papers all lined up now. Go get her, Tiger. She can have her co-worker and make their life miserable instead. Ha ha ha. I know you might not want to, but please do come back with any further updates because we're all invested now. I have a feeling this is just the beginning of drama. I'll bet she tries to get you to stop the divorce at some point, but we'll see. That's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it now. If you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also don't forget to hit that subscribe button.